We just recently learned about the news coming out of Cyprus. It seems that Cypriot ministers are trying to revise a plan to seize money from bank deposits before a parliamentary vote coming this week that will secure the island's financial rescue or could lead to its default, with incredible reverberations across the Eurozone. Over the weekend, it was announced that Cyprus would impose a tax on bank accounts as part of a 10 billion euro or $13 billion bailout by the European Union. And that breaks with previous practices that depositor savings accounts were sacrosanct. Cypriot officials are seeking to soften the blow to smaller savers by tilting more of the tax towards those with deposits greater than 100,000 euros or about $130,000. It seems the government of Cyprus has no choice but to accept the bailout with a tax on deposits or go bankrupt. The Eurozone has indicated that changes would be acceptable as long as the return of around 6 billion euros is maintained. If the Cypriot parliament votes the deal down, the Eurozone would face a risk of being dragged back into a financial crisis. Cypriot President Nikos Anastasiades, a conservative elected just 3 weeks ago, said in a TV address that the tax was an alternative to a disorderly bankruptcy. It was painful, but will eventually stabilize. But could this be a window into the future for America? Because remember, it was former President George W. Bush who infamously stated, "We must violate the free market in order to save the free market," as we embarked upon the near $1 trillion Troubled Asset Recovery Program, also known as TARP. It was followed by a massive auto bailout. That was followed by a massive stimulus, which was followed by a $1.3 trillion new entitlement healthcare law. Our country was established because of an angst against increased taxation without representation with the British Parliament. It seems now we are on a path of having excessive and onerous taxation with representation. The question is, what kind of representation? It was also just this weekend when current Speaker of the House John Boehner and House Budget Committee Chairman Paul Ryan both stated on Sunday talk shows that we don't have a debt crisis. Can the elected officials of both parties be so oblivious to the truth? This is similar to someone saying, "You have been shot in the gut, and you will not die right now, but you will eventually bleed to death. And we will be back when that begins to happen." It has been 100 years since our personal income tax system was started in 1913. The top marginal tax rate then was 7%. Now it is 39.6%. And furthermore, we have instituted capital gains taxes, dividend taxes, and the infamous death tax. Our corporate business tax rate is the highest in the world at 39.6%. And there are those who complain about production and manufacturing not finding a home in America. Sure, you can pay a reduced rate because of those exemptions. But however, any common sense economist will tell you that a lowering of that rate combined with an elimination of those exemptions will result in increased revenues, not sheltering of revenue. And just so you are reminded, there are some 21 new taxes in the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And approximately 8 of those 21 taxes took effect in January of this year. See, we all understand payroll taxes are necessary for Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. However, why is it that these programs are scheduled to go bankrupt? We pay gas taxes so that our roads, bridges, and other aspects of our infrastructure are secure. But then we are told we need to spend more and tax more for infrastructure. We have elected officials telling us we need to pay our fair share so that government can invest. But can anyone tell me what is the rate of return for a government investment? There are those who will tell us that everything is great because the Dow Jones Industrial Average is high. But they don't tell you about the excessive printing of money, creating an artificial economy. The level of fiscal incompetence we are witnessing is beyond comprehension here in America and indeed across the world. However, what does it say about the electorate if they continue to elect and re-elect this gross level of ineptness? During the last presidential election, we heard many liberal media pundits ask for specifics from presidential candidate Mitt Romney. But why did they not ask the same of Barack Obama's slogans of hope and change and and forward. It seems that everyone is focused on government growth and not economic growth. And the two are diametrically opposed in intent, purpose, and result. One takes the capital necessary for economic expansion and individual industrialism and wastes it. The other truly invests it based upon the indomitable entrepreneurial spirit that inspires innovation and ingenuity. And we in America have gotten to a point where the welfare nanny state is the objective of our representation. They seem more interested in the electorate becoming enslaved to government largesse, resulting in the dependency society, rather than the electorate being empowered, leading to the land of opportunity. At CPAC 2013, the theme was the next generation, new challenges, timeless principles. And the next generation must demand representation that is fiscally responsible, competent, and not corrupt. The next generation must insist upon representation that preserves the American dream and exceptionalism, not destroy it upon the selfish, sacrificial altar of attaining political power.